Aloha and welcome to my channel. My name is Celeste and I'm going to be talking about troubleshooting our cycles, specifically the womb cycle, the menstruation cycle. I think it's really important since I've been creating this series on educating and empowering women around their womb and the wellness around their womb and their womb wisdom in order to activate these beautiful codes within us and the divine feminine. It's really important to take into consideration the fact that the world that we live in right now is very tumultuous and it's actually creating a serious strain on our bodies, on our energetic cycles, and as women, on our wombs. And I am noticing this a lot more lately because there is so much increase and acceleration in the consciousness of humanity. And I take it as a really positive thing, but I'm also realizing that we need tools and we need to be able to navigate these times in the most well and centered way possible. And this means creating a wellness routine and awareness around the womb and what that actually entails. So troubleshooting around our cycles pretty much means that most of us are experiencing really deep and transformative change around what our cycle is feeling like, what it's looking like when it's actually arriving, how long it is, and how it's feeling in our body. So if you've noticed that your cycle has been shifting dramatically lately, just know that it's a part of a much bigger collective story. Now, what I mean by troubleshooting in our cycles most specifically is something that I had mentioned in my previous video about creating a wellness routine around your womb, which is when you are in a specific season or inner season of your body and your cycle, but you don't actually feel like you're in that season. And a big part of this work is to actually connect to every season in your cycle, because every season holds wisdom and builds on the next, right? So as we work through the 4 seasons of our cycle, we are never complete. It's just constantly coming back. It's just this beautiful wheel of wisdom that grows on itself. But if we are stuck in the mentality of the society that we live in, which is basically living in ovulation 28 days of our cycle, right? Like go, 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 be on your top game every single day, all day, what's happening is that we're not receiving the wisdom of each cycle. And so this is what's also causing us to troubleshoot our cycles, because we're not honoring the process of each season. Now, many of us can see this with a charting practice. So if you have a charting practice, you will be able to really pinpoint, okay, where am I at right now? I'm in spring. I should be taking inspired action. But instead, I still feel like I'm in winter. I still feel like I'm bleeding and shedding, and I need to be cocooned in the warmth and darkness of my spirit. And although that could be a very beautiful feeling, if you feel that way and you're in spring and you're no longer in winter, this can cause repercussions along your cycle, right, through the weeks ahead. And it's really important that we troubleshoot these things as soon as we see them, right? This is why it's important to have a physical charting practice and not necessarily an app that's not going to tell you what's happening energetically with your body, right? If you're connected to your womb or not. So troubleshooting, I just want to give you a few tips around this. One, I just said it, actually creating a charting practice is going to definitely narrow down what is happening in your body, what actions need to be taken, and what needs to be looked at from day to day. This is a daily practice because our bodies are changing on a daily basis. So if we're depending on technological apps, or if we're just simply tuning into our wombs when we're either bleeding or ovulating and that's it, we're completely missing out on what it means to be a woman and what it means to hold a womb. And there's so much wisdom in that. So understand that charting can be a beautiful practice to just blossom this for you. Now, another thing you can do is just simply create a wellness routine around your womb. I've noticed that before I had a wellness routine around my womb, it was very up in the air. I would just yoni steam whenever I would remember or whenever I had extra time, or I would simply not wear my workout clothes when I would remember, and if it was just comfortable, I would just stay in my workout clothes or just use it all day because I love it. And what I realized is, as soon as I made that conscious decision to say, I need to take this seriously, I need to take this to the next step, every X, Y, and Z, I'm going to create a home spa, and I'm going to do my things that I need to do for my womb and my yoni, and I'm going to make sure that I purchase the right clothing so that I feel comfortable and there's airflow and I don't feel constricted around my womb space. Like all of these things that we can do for our womb to be healthy and well and actually energetically be fertile and strong. So creating a wellness routine at the forefront of your life, not in some kind of background mystical realm where you're like, well, like I think I yoni steamed last month, but I don't know. Like you brush your teeth every day. Make it a point to do this and understand how important it is. Now, outside of that, moon bathing is really powerful, ladies. Being able to align our energy bodies with the energy of the moon, right? And this is not about, bowing down to the moon, or this is not any kind of ritualistic ancient practice of being in reverence to the moon. This is simply understanding that as women, we are connected to the moon, and there's a lot of history behind that. That's why I'm so hesitant to say that, because there's a lot of conspiracies and a lot of information out there on the moon. And just understand that the moon itself, I keep saying womb, the moon is energetically connected to our womb. So it's really important that we connect to her energy, and a really easy way is to moonbathe, to go into a body of water in full moon or new moon, when the darkness of the moon or in the light of the moon, and bathe yourself with her frequencies, and trust and breathe. Do some conscious breathing at that moment, and notice, if you do that for a few cycles, notice what's going to happen with your cycle, with your moon, with your womb, and take that into consideration as your wellness routine. Another really easy tip that a lot of us, I am finding, are not actually doing is turn off your Wi-Fi while you're sleeping, okay? We should not be sleeping with Wi-Fi, ladies and gentlemen. It's simply not healthy for you. Understand that when you're sleeping, you're going into very deep healing states of consciousness. And if there is Wi-Fi in the area that you live while you're sleeping, unless you cannot possibly have it turned off, just turn it off. It's really going to affect your body multidimensionally and energetically, and even specifically your womb, because you're going to be able to realign the energetic cycle of your body in a much more efficient way. Okay? All right. And lastly, check in with how you feel with your womb. And this is really simple, right? You can simply, at any point in time, if you're having a hard time, if your cycles are really off, if you really are all over the place with hormones and whatever it is that you're seeing in your charting practice, take a few moments before you go to bed or upon rising. Place your hands on your womb. Close your eyes. Take a few beautiful deep breaths and create some silence for yourself. Allow yourself to check in. Allow yourself to tune in and ask your womb, because remember, our bodies, our wombs, is a separate consciousness, and we can actually create a communication and a language. And this is what my work is about, opening up the wisdom and opening up the language of our womb so that we can create a more flowy communication between us and our womb, right? And so the first and most easiest way to do that is place your hands on your womb and create stillness within you, and ask your womb what needs to be heard, what needs to be seen, what needs to be looked at. And to be honest with you, more likely than not, you're going to be surprised at what happens when you do that. So I really hope that this helps you troubleshoot any kind of moon cycle, womb cycle situations that you're dealing with. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me get my message out to more beautiful women like you. And until next time, mahalo for tuning in. Mwah.